Hello, my name is Mayana and welcome to MyoCore. Today I'm going to be talking about the 36 books that I read in October. Well, it's technically not 36 books, it's technically maybe 32, and I read about 4 poems, but I counted it because I can do what I want. So I had a very interesting reading month. It was a lot of fun, but I didn't end with a lot of favorites, so I'm really hoping that in November I end the month a lot better. But I read a lot because my reading goal is to read 300 books by the end of the year, just because I want to be able to say I read 300 books. And so far I've read 247, so I need to read at least 27 books in November and 25 books in December. So that is what I've been, hopefully I can stick to that. Anyways, let's just get into this wrap up. So the first 5 books that I read were all Goosebumps books. If you're more interested in hearing all of my thoughts, you can go check out my reading vlog. For a lot of these books I did do reading vlogs on them, and it'll probably be the same for my November wrap up, but let's just talk about October. For the Goosebumps vlog, I read my favorite episodes. I never read Goosebumps before, even though I loved them and I knew the books existed. I was just the kind of kid where it's if I had already watched something, I would be like, what's the point of reading it as well? And so a lot of the things that I loved growing up, I did not read the books to, which I am working on. So I read A Night in Terror Tower, which I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This is just as good as the episode was. And I hadn't watched Goosebumps in a long time, so the ending definitely gagged me. This is about 2 siblings who go and visit Terror Tower in the museum, and they end up traveling back in time, and there's this huge plot twist in it that gagged me. Then I have Stay Out of the Basement, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is about a father who tells his children to stay out of the basement, and one night he has their aunt babysit them, and they go into the basement and find out what their father has been hiding from them. Then we have Phantom of the Auditorium, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is literally like Phantom of the Opera, but high school. They're putting on the Phantom of the Opera play. There's someone fucking up their shit. It's literally like Phantom of the Opera, but for children. Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, which I think I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know, on Goodreads it doesn't have a rating, but I'm pretty sure I feel like I gave it higher, but also probably not. This one is about this girl who goes to visit her grandparents, and the scarecrow starts walking at night, and everybody is spooked at me, what the fuck. And then there's Ghost Camp, where these kids all go to this camp, and there's ghosts. 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, so if you want to hear my more in-depth thoughts, which I mean not really, but because it was to sum it up, but if you want to hear my more in-depth thoughts, you can check out my vlog. And then in between those books, I actually read We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. This was the last and final Grady Hendrix books that I needed to read before I could say that I've read all of Grady Hendrix. And so I ended up giving this 3 out of 5 stars. It started off really strong. It's about this girl who was in this band that was really, really popular, and she ends up going to one of the members, and he ends up telling them listen, I just don't feel right, something feels wrong. I feel like the leader of our band sold our soul, and she has to go and confront him, and it's like Jennifer's Body, but the band's perspective, and at least that's how I think of it. It was really cool. I really wanted a rock star story. I wish there were more of them in different types of genres. So the fact that there was one in horror I thought was really cool. I just think the first half was really good, which I realized in a lot of the Goodreads reviews, a lot of people actually thought the exact opposite. I personally thought the first half was really fun, introducing the characters, introducing this world, being what the fuck is going on. But once we got to the end, it kind of fell flat for me, and so I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. But it was really, really fun, and I'm so happy that I've now read all of Grady Hendrix's favorite books, and now I can say that Grady Hendrix is my favorite. Grady Hendrix is absolutely my favorite author of all time, because he's the only author I've read their whole discography. What do you call it? Author's collection. I don't know. And then I read Violets Bent Backwards Over the Grass by Lana Del Rey. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I became really obsessed with Lana Del Rey in September. She became a big hyperfixation of mine, and I have a friend who's also a big fan, and he told me to check out her poetry, and I did. I thought it was all very beautiful. I'm not a huge fan of poetry, but I've been trying to get more into it, so this was a great start. I read The Scarlet Veil, which I ended up giving 1 out of 5 stars. This is, I should have known I wasn't gonna like it, because this is about the same author who wrote Serpent and Dove, which also, going into this book, I did not know that you kind of need to read Serpent and Dove in order to read this book. You don't have to, I didn't give a fuck, but you kind of have to. This is about this girl who, how do I explain? She basically ends up being kidnapped by this vampire, and yeah, from her family, and the main characters from Serpent and Dove are all in this book. I just thought it was stupid. I thought it was stupid, and I thought it was a waste of time, and I'm mad that I even anticipated this book. And if I would have known that it was a spin-off, or like it included so much of Serpent and Dove, I would not have read this. I am just a whore for vampires, and so I will read anything, and that is what I get for reading this book. And then we get into my cozy paranormal romance era. I have a vlog on this as well if you want to know my more in-depth thoughts, as I've been saying. So the first book I read is Witches of Moonshine Manor. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I really like this because it was very diverse. Like when going into this book, I thought it was going to just be a bunch of white witches because that's what authors write. But no, there was actually 2 black characters, and I thought this was going to have romance, but it wasn't. This was just like a fun, like, women rule book. I thought it was really cool. Like they had talked about like trans characters, like one of the characters was trans. They were all older characters, which I really liked. So I thought this was very interesting. I just think that I ended up getting bored because there wasn't any romance really, and it's like, yay, women, we love women, but it's the romance, guys. It didn't need to have romance. I thought it was fun. But also, I think my biggest issue, because it's not really an issue, but my biggest gripe with this book is that so much is going on because you follow so many characters. You're following like 5 characters, and they all, like, the author really puts in her work. Like, they all have their own plot lines. They all have their things going on, drama with each other. There's so much happening. But I feel like this actually would have done better as a series, which I know I do not say that much. I do not say that often, but I think this would have went better for me as a series if we focused on each and every character individually. Also, this book is about these witches, and there's like this angry mob who wants to take over their house, and they want them out this house, and they want their house to like do something with it. It's like a mob of angry men, and so they have to like fight back. And so, like I said, it was really fun. It was really good. I just wish that it focused on the characters individually, because I feel like there was like a lot going on in about 300 pages. And then I read Big Town Small Magic, which was so fun. It just got me in the beginning. If you watch my vlog, there were so many books that got me in the beginning. Like, it was insane. So basically, this book is about this girl who lives in this small town, and she just lives this everyday life. She like owns like I think it's like a library. She owns, well, not a library, she owns like a bookstore, and she has friends, and everything is going swell until one day her friends reveal to her that she actually is a witch, and she had been a witch this entire time. Oh, she's getting weird dreams of her sister, and she's just like, I don't know why my sister just up and left, like I don't know why I'm dreaming about her. And then her friends revealed to her that she used to be a witch, and basically she had did something to really fuck up, and the witch community was like, you know what, bitch, we're gonna erase your memory. Like, you're not gonna have any memory. And she's like old. She's like around my age. Not old, because did I just call myself old? Almost. But she's around my age. And so it's like, it was just so funny being like, it was just so nice seeing a character like not have any memory of being a witch, and then discovering being a witch at an older age, because usually when people discover their witches in media, it's about 16. And so I just thought this was really fun. But the book, the description kind of said that there was going to be like, well, it kind of hinted at a romance between 2 characters, and then you read the book and the romance isn't there. And also, this book has like a big bad, as every book does, and I just felt like it wasn't that bad. It was just like, okay, bitch, like, it just wasn't that serious to me. And so it just kind of like ended up falling flat. And then I have Wolf Gone Wild, which is about this werewolf who is he has a curse on him, or he believes he has a curse. So he goes to the witches and he asks for help, but the witches don't like werewolves, and they don't like helping werewolves, so he has to like beg for her help. And then they end up helping each other, and it was just like, it was cute, it was sweet and all, but it was just like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, so getting out of that era, I ended up watching the Fall of the House of Usher by Mike Flanagan on Netflix. I watched it on my Discord friend group, and we just had so much fun. And so during that, because we took like we watched it over 3 days, which I also thought was fun, instead of just consuming it all in one day. We watched it over a course of 3 days. And during that also, I just loved it because it was like a bunch of literature nerds, so it's just like we all just got it. And then I just love that if you love like books and like literature and classics, I think that you would definitely like it. So I ended up rereading a lot of other books, but also reading some for the first time. So I read some because it's not just the Fall of the House of Usher that Mike Flanagan focused on. He takes a lot from Edgar Allan Poe in general, which I thought was really cool. He wraps it all into one. It was just so, if you're a nerd, if you are like, obviously you're a nerd if you're watching this shit, but if you're like a classic nerd, if you like that kind of shit, like hinting at other, like, just watch it, you will eat it up. Okay, so I read The Telltale Heart because my friend Ash was like, oh, Matthew Gray Gruber, which I've never seen Criminal Minds, but come on now. I have eyes. I know that man is fine, right? She's like, Matthew Gray Gruber he does like an audiobook on YouTube of The Telltale Heart. And so I listened to it. Y'all, his voice, oh my gosh, it was like kind of ASMR, which if you don't know, I love me some ASMR. It was kind of like ASMR tease, like his voice was just so relaxing, but it was like really good. It was so good. So I ended up rereading it because I read this in high school. I mean, I read this in middle school, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because I remember always liking it in middle school anyways. And then I read The Raven, which I read before. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really good and creepy and like fun. I read The Black Cat, which I don't have a rating for because it was kind of just like I low-key think that Mike Flanagan kind of did this story better in The Fall of the House of Usher, but I thought it was really cute because I have a black cat, and I just thought it would be fun. And then I read, okay, hold on now. Then I read The Cask of Armand Tilado, and I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. This one is about this man who is keeping this other man trapped in a wall, which they hint at in The Fall of the House of Usher, and so that's why I read it. And I found Mike Flanagan's Tumblr page, and he has like a whole Tumblr list of all the like references that he had. There was a lot more than these. These are just the ones that I wanted to read. And then I read Annabelle Lee, which controversial because this is about his cousin, but it's also a love poem. And I'm just saying, hey, if you're gonna do the damn thing, then do the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So he did the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? This was a love poem, bitch. This was a love poem. Like, I can't even be mad at it. I read The Body by Stephen King. I listened to it on YouTube because I've been wanting to read it for a long time because I want to watch Lean on Me. But I just want to read this first because it's short and I want to read it. I gave it 35. It was not that good. It was about these kids who all like, one of them gets word that there's like this body in like this town over, and so they all like go on a fake camping trip. But I also think it's very interesting because it's about childhood friendships and adolescence and leaving people behind as you get older. I just think that like the story itself was boring, but I think the message was really, really good. So I am excited to watch the movie because I feel like them discovering this body actually ruined their friendship, and these boys were not good for the main character. Like, they weren't good friends, they weren't good like children, they were bad. And so it's just the character, like, they're moving on, and how like them discovering this body kind of like ruined their lives, even though people don't even know that they discovered it. And so in hindsight, it was really good, but like executed wise, like I just was very bored. Oh, back to the cozy paranormal era that I had. These are all also still in that vlog. I just took a little break. So then I read The Fake Mate, which I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. This is an arc that I got from NetGalley. So I keep looking at myself. I am so sorry because I know some people hate that, but it's like, I'm beautiful and I'm taking it. Like, what can I say? And it's like the hair, she's taking it. I look like somebody's business mom. Like, I look like mom by day. I look like I'm going into the office with my little cute little, it's not really a bob, but we'll call it a bob, with like my bob, and I'm about to cut y'all out and get y'all into line, and then I'm gonna go home to my kids and I'm be the sweetest mom ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I look like Edna Mode if she could slay this hard. Yeah, so I read The Fake Mate. I got an early copy on NetGalley, and I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's about this girl who works in this hospital, and her grandma wants her to get married and have babies, because this is like this is a Megaverse sort of, or ABO, which I do dabble in. I used to read a lot of that in my Wattpad history, and like once I discovered like actual real books, I kind of stopped tuning in because I didn't know it was like a thing in like actual literature. And then it got really popular 2 years ago, and so I've been slowly getting back into it, but dabbling because I don't want to be weird. So yeah, so this is like she ends up telling her grandma that she's dating this guy, and then she gets the guy to agree with her, and she doesn't have any interest in men, and she doesn't really want to be married, and the guy, he needs a mate, so they just have this agreement. And yeah, I just think her books are too long for my liking. Like, this book is like 400 pages, and it did not need to be, especially this book whatsoever. And it's like, I'm over fake dating. I'm tired of it. I don't know why I picked this up. It's like I keep reading my favorite genre or my favorite tropes, thinking that like it'll overweigh the fact that this, I just don't like fake dating anymore, and it does not work. It's not, and I'm learning that. Okay. And then I read The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars, kind of out of obligation, because the rest of these books sucked and this was better than the rest of them, but like not by much. So this is about this girl who fuck, I read so many. What the fuck was this about? Hold on, let me collect my thoughts. Okay, it's about it's about this girl who used to live in this town, and she works as like a wedding assistant or some shit like that. And so her grandma ends up being like, hey sweetie, I'm gonna need you to come home. Like, we need you back home. And so she's like, fuck. They go back home, and her grandma convinces her to enter this contest with her enemy. And the guy that's her enemy is like another witch. It's technically called like a warlock, but I hate when they call male witches warlocks, because it's like they're the same thing. Why name them differently? Anyways, so yeah, he's like a really popular witch, and like he's on like the witch magazines, and everyone loves him, and he's like the eligible bachelor, and he was voted like top 50 eligible bachelors and #1 hottest man, and like she just cannot stand his ass, and he is everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. And so they end up being put in this contest and being partnered together. There's like a shared bed trope, and it was also like the people in this book were, the older women in this book were absolutely trying to set them up with each other. And I just thought it was fun, and I thought it was cute, and I really liked it. And like I said, I liked it better than the other ones, so that's why it gets so high. And then I read Hex in the City, which I gave 1 out of 5 stars. This one is like supposed to be like practical magic meets Rapunzel meets like something else. And so it's about this girl who has long magical hair, and she ends up working with like this guy who's like, essentially he's a con artist, because he's trying to convince people that he is a witch, but he's not. And so someone puts a curse on him, so they work together to figure out who it is. And I just thought that this one sucked. I thought it was very childish. I thought that the main character, she's supposed to be like in her 20s. She acts like she's 16. She talks like she's 16. Their names are Poppy and Alex, which if you read, well, his name is Axel, but his real name is Alex. And so if you read People We Meet on Vacation, that's the couple's name in that book, the ship named Poppy Alex. And so I'm just like, girl, you could, it's like on one hand I can't be like, girl, you could have come up with someone else, because it's like, what are the odds? But it's like at the same time, like, you had to know. Like, I don't think that like there's anything wrong with books having like the same ship names. I just think it's crazy, and like that's just so random. And then there's enough characters named Poppy that came out there anyway, so it's like, I don't know. Poppy only fits Ginger. Like, she was a brunette, she was a blonde, and it's just like, it wasn't good, it wasn't fun, and I didn't like it, so I get 1 star. And then we get into my monster romance era, which I also have a vlog on, because I vlogged everything that I read this month. So I read The Barbarian's Treasure, which I gave 2 out of 5 stars. It's about these girls who get lost on this ship, and they end up on this island with these barbarians. And I gave it 2 out of 5 stars because, one, it was boring. It was insta love, which I quickly discovered that that's all monster romances is. And yeah, so I thought it was boring. It was insta love. And then also I feel like these guys talk too modern, like for them to be barbarians. Like, it was just too, it was too modern for me. Like, not even just too modern, but like, why do they know the words? They like, aren't y'all barbarians? Like, why do y'all know the words that y'all know, right? And then I read Bound by Vori, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars, and it's about these aliens who are in a poly relationship with this, like, the queen. And so she's like, you know what, I'm gonna allow you guys to get your own mates. So they go and they find this girl, and they end up like mating with her and still love, as I said. But also there was this thing that made me uncomfortable, where it was just her being like, oh, like, how old are you guys? Like, this, like, I'm like this year, and they're like, girl, I don't give a fuck how old you are, you my mate, so we about to get to fucking. And I'm just like, oh, that's not, and I just couldn't do it. So yeah. Cosmic Kiss, which I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is my favorite book that I've read this month. It is Polly. The main character is black. It's about this girl who works in this burlesque, and it's sci-fi. Anyway, so it's about this girl who works as a like space burlesque thing, and she's like performing, and she falls onto like 2 guys, and they're like, she's my mate. And so this is also instant love between her and the 2 guys, but they're like, bitch, she can't be your mate and my mate. And then you find out that they have history with each other, and the 2 guys used to be together, but they couldn't, because like in this world you need to have a mate, and if you're not mated with somebody, then you can't be with them. So they had to break up, and then they end up finding out that they're all mates with her. So I thought that was really good, because there was like this they were like fighting over her, so there was like this angst between them, which I thought was really fun, and the smut was really good. And One of them had tentacles, and that was fun. Stupid Cupid, I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is a male. One is Cupid, one is a dragon Santa Claus. This was like, I gave this 3 out of 5 stars because it was like BDSM, and I just don't like reading that in books. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that in real life. I just think that, like, don't think it translates in well in books for me. Like, it doesn't do anything for me, basically. Like, it does nothing for me in books. Like, I just don't give a fuck. So yeah, and then I read Queen of Monsters, which is a female, and I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. This one is Mafia, and that's why I didn't really fuck with this one. It's about Percy, like the female version of Percy and Medusa, and them like working together. Like, well, Percy's sent to kill Medusa, and then she's like, you know what, I don't want to kill you. Let's work together. So they ended up working together. But I didn't really love this one because it was Mafia, and I don't like Mafia books. And I thought that if I read like a Greek retelling Mafia, that would help. I should have known that it wouldn't help because I didn't like Katie Roberts like Greek retelling Mafia, so I should have known that I would not have liked this one. And I read Hollow, which is about like the Headless Horseman, and this book is like 2 different stories. The first story was like a 5 out of 5. Like the first, if it was just left at the first story, it would have been so fucking good. The second one, it wasn't bad. It's like I kind of want to buy the book because I love the first one. Like, it was just so good. Like, it was just so good. But then the second one, so it's like literally like the Headless Horseman, but like smut. And the first one is like literally like the guy Ichabod. I don't watch Sleepy Hollow, so I watched it once and I didn't give a fuck, so I never watched it again. So I don't know what the fuck, I don't know, but Ichabod, I don't know, their names are hideous. He is like spying on like the other Headless Horsemen, and he like sees them doing things like, you know, and then he sees one of them like hooking up with Catherine. And the guy like catches him off guard one night. He's like, I know you've been watching me. And they like hook up. It was good. It was good. It was good. It was a good little male moment. I think I'm gonna buy the book. I think I'm gonna buy the book because the first half, she ate. Hey, my camera overheated, so I do not remember where I was. But basically, I read Jack, and there was a part in the book where she was like, he tasted like pumpkin spice latte, and I was like, get me the fuck out of here. Couldn't do it. Very fucking unserious, and it had a lot of high ratings. You guys are unserious people. So then I read Creature Cafe, which I think Cleo Evans might be my new favorite monster romance author. I can see me reading her every now and then because all of her books do have insta-love, and that pisses me off, but that's neither here nor there. Also, this monster lovers era came from Levi. This is all Levi's fault because we were watching Venom together, and next thing you know, that's all I want to read now. So this is all Levi's fault. Little Slice of Hell. Okay, so I read Little Slice of Hell first. I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars, but I gave it 4. I'm gonna give this 3 out of 5 stars. Sorry. So this one is about Dante. This one is male. Okay, yeah, this one is male. This is about Dante, who is a demon, and this Creature Cafe series is about this guy named the Barista who is hooking up monsters with humans, and he's putting them together, and they go on dates, and then they usually like go on dates and then hook up right after. So it's very much all insta love. And low-key, I hate dates in books. I don't know if I've ever said that, but I hate when people go on dates in books because I never find them fun. Like in real life, I love dates. I love going on dates. I think they're fun, but in books, I prefer my characters love to develop like something unrealistic, I guess. So yeah, so Dante was over the top. He was doing a little bit too much for me, but the smut was really good. Dante had like a tail where he used it to his advantage, and I love that. A Little Sip of Sin, which I gave 2 out of 5 stars. This one was male as well. No, male, female. I just thought this one was insta love, and I found it very boring. The 2 guys were demons and the 1 girl was a human, and it was like bonded, and it was like a bunch of stuff that I don't care about, as I stated before. And then I read A Little Souls of Fire, which is the last one, about the barista, and I gave this one 2 out of 5 stars as well, just because I found Barista over the top. Like, he basically like has this romance with Lucifer and this other girl, and he's just like, so it was just corny, and it was just corny. I'm sorry. Like, I think that when Cleo writes like characters who's supposed to be like badass, they just come off as corny because I don't think she's a badass kind of girl. Like, I think she's probably like really nice and kind. I'm sorry, I'm not like that's fine. But I just think that some authors can't write badass characters, and it just came off as corny. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, and then it was also like insta love, and it was like, oh, you're my mate, like he disrespected you, I'm gonna beat his ass. But it's like, it was corny. Then I read The Orc Prince, which is about this girl who was married off to this guy, and she's supposed to give him babies, and she didn't. So she's supposed to be getting, they're supposed to murder her, but one of them lets her get away, and so she ends up running to this house to live with this orc, and they fall in love. Insta love, and it was full, this was a full story, so I really didn't give a fuck. Like, at least when it's insta love and it's a short story, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. This one was full 300 pages, bitch. Excuse me. Then I read Charming Your Dad, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is about this girl who was dating this guy. She's a witch. Now, this was a badass bitch. Like, I really fuck with this character, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, she was like dating this guy, and he's a human, but she can like feel that there's like magic in him, and that's why she can't stay away. And then he like, she finds like this video of him talking shit about her to this other girl and like trying to cheat on her. So then she breaks up with him, and his dad comes in the picture, and his dad's a demon, and he sees her, and they hook up on the first night, and there's a romance from there. Insta love, didn't give a fuck. Even if it wasn't like insta love, they hooked up like the first 50 pages. I just feel like this book was too long. It was like a full 300 pages, and I just think that it should have been a short story, because, and then the fact that it was too long and everything, like all of that happens in the first 50 pages. No, so then like the rest of the book was just like, okay, whatever. So I feel like this actually should have been short. I low-key forgot to talk about one of my favorite books that I read this month, and it's called Cupid Demon. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This is a poly book about this girl who ends up going to like this, you know, club, and she ends up getting put with this demon, and she is pure, as books like to write their main characters. She hasn't done anything before, and he ends up like taking her out, and they end up becoming fond of each other, and then he also introduces her to like one of his friends, and then there's also this werewolf that is like stalking her because he just is so enticed by her, and then he like saves her from her ex, and then they all end up getting involved together. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars because I thought it was like the ex thing was corny, and then like her mom didn't approve of her dating monsters or whatever, and I thought that was also very predictable and corny. And like the ex thing just gave like Lifetime movie, and it just, I don't know. I wanted this book, even though the book didn't need to, I wanted the book to take itself more seriously. And then also like the insta love was fine because it was so many of them. Like, I don't mind insta love to a certain extent. The smut was so good, that's why I got 4 out of 5. The smut was so good, and the cover is cute. Like, let's be for real. So yeah, I just didn't want to forget about a book that like I actually really enjoyed. So yeah. And then I read Not So Yours Truly. This one was female poly book. About these 2 demons and this one girl. This is the last book in the series, so I really didn't know what the fuck was going on. I bought this book too, so when I started reading this, I was like, oh, I maybe should have read the other book, because I had no idea what the fuck was going on. But I didn't want to read the first book because I heard in the first book the main character's hoo-ha has teeth, and I didn't want to read that, even though it does look good. I might still read it, sorry. But yeah, so I didn't really know what the fuck was going on in this world. But it was basically this character, she's like a witch, but she's also a omega, which is like, what, how does that work? But whatever. And it's like, of course she's an omega, whatever. So it's about this girl who's a witch, and she's going to apply like to this job, and these she's going into heat as she's going to this job, and so these 2 characters take her home, because one is like, this is my mate, and they take her home and they like, you know, calm her heat down. And yeah, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was insta, I'm so sad, I just get so fucking bored of insta love, and so it was insta love, and it was just like, I don't know, I thought it was creative because the one monster was like an orc, and then the other monster was I think she was a vampire, and I did think it was like creative and fun. I just think for the most part I got bored. Then I read Lick, which was a vampire book, and I really like this one because this one, the main character, the love interest, was an Asian guy, which I thought was really cool and unique because I don't read a lot of books like that. And this one is about this girl who works for this really like weird company, and this is really short too. It's about this girl who works for this really weird company, and she gets fired one day because she was asking too many questions. So then she gets home, she goes to a bar, she gets drunk, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna confront my boss because fuck him. So she goes to his house, and he mistakes her as someone who's coming to be turned into a vampire. So she gets turned into a vampire, but she knows these vampires exist. This is the second book in the series. The first book is about her friend, so she knows about vampires because her best friend was a vampire. So and then so she's end up like tethered to him almost, and they have like this irresistible love. Like, oh my god, the irresistible love was written so well. I think that the romance was written so good. It was smutty. It was just really fun. It was quick. It was good. Like, I was like, this ate. I low-key wish the cover was a bit more appealing to the eye so that I could buy it, because I fuck with this story. Like, it was so good. Highly recommend. And then lastly, I read Dracula, which actually that's not what I lastly read, but whatever. Lastly, I read Dracula, which you can check out my reading vlog. I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. Someone gagged me a little bit in my comments, okay, and I want to address that. So in the video, I kept calling him Jonathan Hacker. His name is Jonathan Harker, but I kept calling him Jonathan Hacker. And someone was like, oh, did you even read the book? Yes, I read it, but I've been calling him Jonathan Hacker since before I started reading Dracula. So when I was listening to the audiobook, I kept hearing what I wanted to hear, especially because it was on like 2x speed. So yes, I read the book. I'm so sorry for that mistake. I'm aware that his name is Harker now and not Hacker. And it's crazy because you can even see me like reading the emails. You can see me reading the emails, and like you can, like, I go, oh, Mina Hacker. So it's like I can see that the last name says Harker, but I just call her Hacker because that's what I want their last name to be. So yeah, that was this month. I'll probably be reading Christmas books in November because I've already started. I did start, I do have to read me and Jake's book club book, My Heart is a Chainsaw, but me and him aren't like sticklers. We aren't like, you have to read this book by the end of the month. I wanted to because of October, but it's fine that I don't. And then I also started the Slayers of Buffyverse audiobook on Audible. I'm fucking obsessed. I wanted to finish it, but we end up in my Discord, we end up having like a Halloween movie night last night, and then me and Levi watched some Buffy episodes. So I didn't get a chance to finish it, but I've been listening to it this morning. I'm almost done. That is it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.